these bitches are hard to follow. Like, how am I gonna match that, any of that? And I want to thank Lorraine for giving us all this opportunity and believing that, especially for me, I could, step outside of my box and do something completely different than I normally do. And I'm gonna start by making a confession and sharing a truth about me. I am not a public speaker. I hate public speaking. I am awkward, I'm uncomfortable. And so when Lorraine offered this up, I was like, no, absolutely not. I cannot do it.
You said yes.
I said yes in the end, but I said no to myself a lot. Hard stop. It is way outside of my comfort zone. And then I thought, wait a minute. There's a reason that this is happening right now. This is a side of you that has always been a challenge. It's an opportunity to do what scares you, to step outside of your box, a way to be bold and a little courageous. And after all, since we just ended the year of the snake and we've shedded all of the shit that we don't need, it's the year of the horse. And so it's time to jump out and do what scares you and become who or what you want to be, really what you want to be. So I said, saddle up, Karen, and fucking do it. And here I am. Once I made the decision and the panic and the sweat stopped, I spent considerable time wondering what I could possibly talk about when these other badass women have these amazing stories. If I'm gonna do this, then there's maybe a new Karen in town. And that led me to think, a new Karen in town, to start thinking about talking about my kitchen table, which, by the way, has nothing to do with furniture or kitchens or cooking or food or anything like that. What it is, as Nadine said, it's a blog that I've been writing since like 2018, and it's called Essays from My Kitchen Table. In a nutshell, it's a series of ongoing essays written by, I gotta stop doing that, written by or about one or another of the different people that live within me and who show up randomly one minute or the next, but who together make me who I am as a whole person. And so when did this start, or how did it start? Good question. It actually started with a session with my therapist, who we'll call Dr. B. And at the time, I was trying to figure out why I behave so differently, depending on where I am, who I'm with, what I'm wearing, what time of day it is, what's the season, what's the weather, what's the temperature, whatever. I found that I was trying to make a pretty big life decision at the time, and I had a different answer to the same question almost every minute, certainly every day. One day the answer would be A, next day it would be B, then it's G, then it's Z, then it's back to A, and I was like, don't I know what I want? Can I not like stay the course, be one person? It seemed as if I was a totally different person with a different attitude, depending on the minute. And so Dr. B easily threw this little gem of information out to me and said, basically, Karen, you're experiencing your life in moments from the perspective of one of your many different personalities. And I was like, what? Or what are you fucking telling me? That I'm schizophrenic? And I spent a lot of time worrying about that and thinking, I'm gonna need some serious medication to figure out who all these people are and to pick one and just land on one. And then after whining about it for a while, Dr. B said, hold on, Karen, take it down a notch and think about it this way. Picture a kitchen table, and at this table sit several different Karens, each with a unique perspective that's come from some experience that you've had over time. And one or another of them steps forward when you need them. And I'm a very visual person, so I immediately could see this table, clear as a bell. It was my childhood kitchen table that was in our family room. It's in a room, we had doors and windows, but in my mind, this is a room with no door, but some windows. I can see my mother's curtains flying in the breeze. I can smell the formica on the table and the plastic on the matching brown chairs. I can also actually hear the way they scrape the floor, the sound they made when they scraped the floor when we would get up from dinner. It was all so vivid, like right away. And then I looked around the table really and looked and saw that there were 5 different versions of Karen sitting around the table. They were all dressed differently, they were all different ages, they were all me, but at a different time of my life. And each one had a completely different demeanor and attitude. They talk to each other, they fight a lot, they're usually sitting or standing in the same spot. And I could see that each one had a very specific role. And I knew each one. They were each clearly recognizable to me. So my kitchen table is really an attempt to figure out where the hell they all came from and why they randomly show up and surface at any given time. My hope is that it resonates with people, mostly women, honestly, who share the same uncertainty about who they are on any given day. I think that I write mostly to women because we, as the keeper, sorry to all the men in the room, there's so many of you, as the keepers of the family, household, income, friendships, relationships, love, safety, nourishment, whatever it is, you name it, we're the ones holding all that shit together. And at the same time that we're rubber banding all these things together, we're struggling to figure out how to balance it all, how to juggle all these balls we have in the air, and understand who we really are. Because really, let's face it, on any given day, you can absolutely be a completely different person than you were the day before. So, these are the Karens that I see around my table. They're not in any order, and it certainly isn't an exhaustive list, but here are some of them. There's the 1970s runner. She's wearing track shorts and tube socks and sneakers. There's a lawyer in a gray trouser suit who has big black birth control glasses on. That was before they were cool to wear. There's a 5-year-old who is paralyzed and is either sitting on another Karen's lap or piggybacking, maybe on the runner as she runs around the table because she's constantly running around the table. There's a mom, there's a writer, there's a very, very shy Karen. She's usually hiding behind one of the curtains or her hair or maybe even under the table. There's a bitch. She's always angry at something or someone. And there's a comedian who's constantly trying to make everybody laugh and make light of things. I know that these selves of me, their reactions, their opinions, their moods, look vastly different from each other, and those differences can be extremely confusing to me. Sorry, I keep doing that. And the imbalance can almost cause a sort of amnesia about who I really am. But maybe knowing who I am, who we are, is really not that simple, because we are so many, many things, one at a time and all at once. And that's really my story. Our histories, good and bad, are powerful. Every event that we've endured leaves an impression, a mark, some good, some not so good, but all are valuable. Why? Because we're not stationary. We are not one-dimensional. We are a mishmash of every tiny experience we've ever had. I believe that each of these experiences create a thread that we can pull throughout life to help us deal with whatever moment we're faced with, to help us turn left instead of right, even if it's hard or scary, or might not end the way we thought it would. The Karens that sit around my table each hold one thread, or maybe more than one thread, and that distinguishes one part of me from the rest. And all these threads together, I think we all have them, create a tapestry that gives us dimension and texture. I think we all are a tapestry of our life experiences. It's taken me a while, and I'm certainly not done yet, but I understand more now that each different Karen shows up and pulls a thread when I need them for all kinds of reasons. To eliminate fear, to protect me, to lighten me up, to run away, to run back, to force a decision. Not everyone likes or will appreciate any one of, or maybe all the Karens. And I'm really learning not to give a shit. I am the sum of my many, many Karens, which together and one by one help me survive every day. My kitchen table is who I am, no excuses, no apologies. And so I finally embraced that the many Karens at my table, and when one pops up, a new one pops up, like this one here tonight, actually, it means that there's still something in me, or some of me, that no one has seen yet, including me. So in closing, I'll say one more thing. Ask yourself who is sitting at your kitchen table.